We've officially hit that point at the end of the year where everyone is reflecting on which artists managed to get on top, tragically flopped, or plan to bring in the new year with projects, sold out tours, and a shiny new star quality. But someplace in between, there are a few artists that seem to fade into the background. On one side of the coin, we see this emergence of more women rap artists who not only manage to collaborate, form friendships, and give us some great tracks together. On the flip side, so many projects dropped this year that you either managed to get in the mix and drop consistently too, or we really didn't hear too much from you at all. And unfortunately, some of the artists signed to quality control music are feeling the effects of stunted growth, being shelved, or trying desperately to remain relevant and snag their next big hit so everyone can see and celebrate their success. Let's talk about it. But first, welcome to the channel. Hey, hi, Wazan with it, I'm C, and I do rap and pop culture commentary. So if you're into that, subscribe and hit the like button. It's always crazy to me when a music label that once brought forth so much talent and gave us quite a few hit records starts to give audiences the impression that their artists aren't progressing the way that they should be. Sometimes we think it's the label and it's really just the artist's fault. But in other cases, these music executives are doing all that they can in order to help their artists grow, and it simply isn't working. To be transparent, I feel like many artists overall, and some that we'll be discussing today, aren't achieving the success they envisioned for a multitude of reasons. Comfortability in staying complacent, or constantly creating music that sounds the same. Trouble adjusting to fame and juggling family, and overall simply not developing. A trend I see coming in 2025 is originality and real music taking precedence over this whole mumbo jumbo clout TikTok music that is taking the industry by storm today, especially with the uncertainty of TikTok being banned in the US in 2025. You might just need more than a hit single to become famous for life. And QC isn't exactly shy to hit singles. Founded in 2013 by P and Coach K, Quality Control rapidly became one of the most successful independent labels in the industry. And this is partly thanks to the Migos, their flagship talent that signed back in 2015. In 2017, Lil Yachty joined the label, followed by Lil Baby and the City Girls soon after. Of course, there were other acts who achieved some fame on the label, like Rennie Brucci and Rich the Kid. I really see Yachty, City Girls, and Baby as this QC dream team that helped the label reach its peak someplace around 2018, 2020. And in my opinion, this is around the time where their top tier musical artists were dropping music consistently, going on tour, and showing up in a rather successful light to rep QC as a brand. But with a quick look at these talents this present day, it's wild to think that less than a decade later, some of them aren't feeling the same spark as they did way back when. With the exception of Lil Yachty, who seems to be in his creative bag lately, we have Lil Baby, who seems to be in album rollout mode as he gears up for the release of his fourth studio album, Wham, dropping on January 3rd. And while I'm looking forward to it, like many, I'm hoping that Baby is managing to switch up his sound just a little bit going forward. I don't think that Lil Baby has fallen off like so many people are saying, but he certainly stumbled a bit and seems to understand that in order to get his footing, he has to hop on tracks with whoever is deemed hot right now, right? Like Boss Man D-Lo or Central C. And then there's the City Girls, who are defunct, with JT choosing to go solo and finding her signature sound and audience this year, going on tour, dropping her debut project. And then you have Young Miami, who is pushing this public figure and podcast host thing first and her music after, as she claims that QC straight up said that she isn't dropping music anytime soon because her music is not maturing. Although she did get clowned for this online, I'm just glad that she kept it real. We are truly in an era of the overconfident and talentless, which many female rap artists think that they can make up for by twerking some or throwing whichever hot male rapper on a track who will talk to us about French tips, bust downs, blondes, and bobs, and how they love to see us grind. nigga, I'm in my soft life era. Because even Young Miami's desperation of getting Skilla Baby to hop on yet another song preaching to the nail artists, Lash Techs, and certified bad biddies did not land her a hit. But clearly you can see a reoccurring pattern, right? Many of these artists are being way too shy when it comes to exploring new ways to stand out amongst other artists in the game. Because it's one thing for social media to think that all of your music sounds the same and that you aren't evolving, but it's a whole nother story when your label feels the exact same way. And unfortunately, it seems like that's also what's going on with Memphis rap artist Gloss Up. If you're new to Glossy, she is one of Glorilla's BFFs that you've likely seen turning up with her in music videos, freestyling side by side, or collaborating on tracks together with the rest of Glow's crew. And if my memory serves me correctly, Gloss got signed to Quality Control Music around the same time as Glow was added to the CMG roster, which if anything has made the internet even more critical of Gloss, as it seems like they are trying to compare their success. Except when it comes to sounds, because while we've seen Glorilla show us a bit more versatility with her new album, Gloss really hasn't managed to switch it up enough, and unfortunately, it seems to be hurting her career. During a recent social media back and forth, she was clowned by Akbar V for being signed to Quality Control by P as a charity case, saying that she still didn't have a hit record and she would be dropped from her label soon. These comments came not long after Gloss revealed that QC is not allowing her to release new music because each time she hits the studio, they're telling her, look, this ain't it. Apparently, the label feels like all of her music is sounding the same, and they've even managed to bring in writers to help, but they aren't feeling the songs that she's getting assistance with either, which has me thinking about various different things. Where is the artist's development? Why does she not have a hit single by now? And most importantly, why does it feel like they have no idea what to do with Gloss as an artist? We're in this current era of what I like to call microwavable music, where label execs and A&Rs are searching high and low on social media for whoever is getting the most clicks, views, and likes with a little bit of potential, and then throwing them on stage, in the booth, and on tour to fend for themselves without actually getting them development, dance lessons, and media training. And when it comes to sound, almost everyone is rapping on the same beats about the same things, with only a rare few standing out in the crowd. When you have someone like Gloss, who can easily be placed in this category of female rap artists who, quote unquote, all sound the same to some people, it's important to add a little bit of individualism to her to make her stand out. She needs to carve out her own lane. But does all of this really matter if the music isn't bumping? And most importantly, are these artists making music that they actually enjoy making? Because in the case of another QC signee, Leighton Greene, it seems like during the pandemic, she had a lot of time for self-reflection, which led her to realize that all this time, she was creating music that she thought would help her fit into the industry, but it wasn't reflective of her. When she stepped on the scene, I felt like she truly had the potential to be at the forefront of this new wave of R&B. A new coming of Keisha Cole, if you will, who is one of her musical inspirations. Leighton came up during this era of ladies doing the whole R&B hip-hop song mashups, and we all know she went viral for her rendition of Kodak Black's Roll in Peace. But I couldn't help but to think, where in the world has Leighton been? QC being her launch pad initially made me think that she had the opportunity to go big. Now, if you happen to watch the YouTube video that I did, you'll know that Leighton had a very traumatic upbringing, which she didn't have the opportunity to heal from as she achieved stardom. And while she doesn't seem to be facing the same issue that Gloss Up is, because she stated in a 2023 interview with Forbes that QC is very supportive of her, both music-wise and personally, I will say that it's refreshing to see someone like her give other musicians advice that she wished she would have known back then, to lean into the uniqueness that they offer the industry as an artist. Perhaps being forced into this mold is what's to blame for her lack of success. But I am glad that she's getting to explore new sounds with her most recent music. Anyways, what do you think? When it comes to artists such as these three, why do you think that they have this lack of musical success? Is it the label, their lack of growth, or are they simply not destined to have superstar status? There was a comment on one of my previous videos. I wish I could find it, but it says something along the lines of every single artist is not meant to be the best, the biggest. And I kind of agree. There is a lane for everyone. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.